everybody, welcome to 2OG's Hook and Stitching Island Style. I'm Antoinette. I am going to be your host for today. I'm located on Deer Island in the Bay of Fundy, New Brunswick, Canada. Today's video is going to be talking about the patterns for the hashtag Shaw Challenge, hashtag outside your comfort zone. First off, I want to thank all of the returning subscribers and a very warm welcome to all the new subscribers. And if you're here for the first time, welcome also. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. I also want to thank all of the new members of the Yarny Yayas that have joined, and look forward to seeing your finished objects, projects, and all your postings. So the two patterns that I am going to discuss today, like I said, I would do one knit, one crochet, is the crochet is the Lacy crochet shawl. It's a Yarnspirations pattern. Mikey of the Crochet Crowd has a tutorial, which I linked all of these yesterday, and I will link them again today in the bottom to go ahead and check out the patterns. And the one that I picked for the knit one is the one cake, Karen shawl. It's called another cake shawl, and it uses one Karen cake. I'm going to turn on a little overhead, maybe get a little bit better lighting in here. It's kind of overcast today. We've got landscapers out there working on the front yard. So those are the two that I'm going to discuss today, and I'll start with the crochet. I got some samples of yarn, and we'll talk about hooks and needles. So this first pattern here, and these are free patterns, by the way. I did link them yesterday in the video, and go ahead and look at all the patterns and see which one might interest you. You know, as far as if you think your skill level. I personally think that these are pretty fairly doable patterns for most advanced beginner to advanced beginner crocheters or knitters, and we can all help each other. This one here, the Lacy crochet shawl, it says you're going to need 3 balls. Now they're yarn choice. You don't have to use their yarn choice. The yarns I have are not Bernat big stripes, but it is a number 4 worsted, and they're calling for a size I9 5.5 millimeter. So you go to your crochet hooks, and we all have our preferred crochet hooks. You know, I mean, I have, my case is a mess here. I've got these crochet hooks, and there they go. I've got these crochet hooks, there they go, and I've got those crochet hooks. And those were my, oh my heavens, those were my steel hooks that were my grandma's. Do I crochet with them? No. But I kept them because they were my grandma's. I'm not really into crocheting with Aunt Lydia's. This Zero is probably about the biggest steel crochet. But these were my grandma's. They're Susan Bates, but they were grandma's, so I keep them. I had sent my heroes that were my grandma's to a very special person that loves and collects hero hooks, and I thought they would be a good home for the hooks because I wasn't going to use them. So I sent them to somebody that would appreciate them and take care of them and treasure them. So I'm just going to grab my boy. It is now here's where you find differences in hooks. I am going to pull 3 size I hooks, okay? And you're finding this more and more. Put this pattern down here for a minute. I'm going to come up here to the camera. This is my clover. And let's see if this will, I don't know if it'll come clear or not. We're on the webcam. It says it's a 5.5 clover I-9 hook. This one may not because it's black. This is just one of those sets that I got off of. Hi everybody, welcome to 2OG's Hook and Stitch in Island Style. I'm Antoinette. I am going to be your host for today. I'm located on Deer Island in the Bay of Fundy, New Brunswick, Canada. Today video is going to be talking about the patterns for the hashtag Shaw Challenge, hashtag outside your comfort zone. First off, I want to thank all of the returning subscribers and a very warm welcome to all the new subscribers. And if you're here for the first time, welcome also. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. I also want to thank all of the new members of the Yarny Yayas that have joined, and look forward to seeing your finished objects, projects, and all your postings. So the two patterns that I am going to discuss today, like I said, I would do one knit, one crochet. Is the crochet is the Lacy crochet shawl. It's a Yarnspirations pattern. MIKEY, the Crochet Crowd, has a tutorial which I linked all of these yesterday, and I will link them again today in the bottom to go ahead and check out the patterns. And the one that I picked for the knit one is the one cake, Karen shawl. It's called another cake shawl, and it uses one Karen cake. I'm going to turn on a little overhead, maybe get a little bit better lighting in here. It's kind of overcast today. We've got landscapers out there working on the front yard. So those are the two that I'm going to discuss today, and I'll start with the crochet. I got some samples of yarn, and we'll talk about hooks and needles. So this first pattern here, and these are free patterns, by the way. I did link them yesterday in the video, and go ahead and look at all the patterns and see which one might interest you. You know, as far as if you think your skill level. I personally think that these are pretty fairly doable patterns for most advanced beginner to advanced beginner crocheters or knitters, and we can all help each other. This one here, the Lacy crochet shawl, it says you're going to need 3 balls. Now they're yarn choice. You don't have to use their yarn choice. The yarns I have are not Bernat big stripes, but it is a number 4 worsted, and they're calling for a size I9 5.5 millimeter. So you go to your crochet hooks, and we all have our preferred crochet hooks. You know, I mean, I have, my case is a mess here. I've got these crochet hooks, and there they go. I've got these crochet hooks, there they go, and I've got those crochet hooks. And yeah, those were my, oh my heavens, those are my steel hooks that were my grandma's. Do I crochet with them? No. But I kept them because they were my grandma's. I'm not really into crocheting with Aunt Lydia's. This zero is probably about the biggest steel crochet. But these were my grandma's. They're Susan Bates, but they were grandma's, so I keep them. I had sent my heroes that were my grandma's to a very special person that loves and collects hero hooks, and I thought they would be a good home for the hooks because I wasn't going to use them. So I sent them to somebody that would appreciate them and take care of them and treasure them. So I'm just going to grab my boy. It is, now, here's where you find differences in hooks. I am going to pull 3 size eye hooks, okay? And you're finding this more and more. Put this pattern down here for a minute. I'm going to come up here to the camera. This is my clover. And let's see if this will, I don't know if it don't come clear or not. We're on the webcam. It says it's a 5.5 clover I-9 hook. This one may not because it's black. This is just one of those sets that I got off of Amazon. This is an I-9. And it's not going to be able to see this one. This says 5.5 I-9. This one is my boy. Let's see if we can see this here. 5.25. All three of these are eye hooks, size 9. These two are 5.5, 5.25. Not much difference. If you had to do a gauge swatch, it would make a slight difference. So that's something to keep in consideration when you're looking at choosing your hooks. But this pattern calls for a size I 5.5. It does give gauge, and you ask what gauge is. Gauge is when you will crochet up. You'll do 12 single crochets for 13 rows, 4 inches by 4 inches. That is a gauge swatch. And what it does is it gives you an approximate size. Okay, I have several swatching measurers. This is a Susan Bates gauge swatch. Okay, this is for a 2 inch by 2 inch gauge swatch, and I have another one that is a 4 inch by 4 inch. But you would lay this on your project, and it would give you how many stitches per inch and per row. You worry more about the stitches per inch than you do for row. You want to come close, but it's your stitches per inch, and then you count how many stitches per inch. And like I said, the gauge for this one is 12 single crochets for 4 inches using an I-9 5.5mm hook. So the approximate measurements of the finished project is 44 inches deep by 52 inches wide. So that's a nice size shawl. And reading over it, if you look up here, this list right here is your abbreviations that are in the pattern, along with any special stitches. In this pattern, it's listed as an intermediate pattern. Like I said, advanced beginner can do it with any problem. Plus, MIKEY has a good tutorial for it. I've watched through the tutorial. It's a good tutorial. All of these, this is the only one I can find that has a tutorial. The abbreviations that it gives is ALT for alternate, approximately, CH for chain, CONT for continuously, PAT pattern, PM for place marker, REM for remaining, REP for repeat, RS right side, SC for single crochet, SP for space, TOG together, WS wrong side, and YOH is yarn over hook. There are 3 other ones, HDC, which is half double crochet, and the other 2 also have explanations for what they are. TR is a treble. Now these are in US terms, which is you yarn over twice, drop a loop, yarn over twice, draw up the loop, Then you yarn over, draw through 2 loops, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, yarn over one more time, draw through 2 loops, treble made. And then the other one, which I think is probably going to be your most difficult stitch, but we've all done front post double crochets. This one's a half double crochet front post. So it's the other thing. So that's your stitches in here. And now this one works on it has your foundation row. You chain 41. So I don't seem to think that, you know, that there's really anything. It does give you a chart along with the written directions. And there are, let me see. So how this works is it'll tell you, like, repeat 23rd and 24th row once more. So it'll give you a row and say repeat this row 3 times. So I think it has double trebles, but overall I think it's a fairly self-explanatory pattern. And again, I said I did note that Mikey from the Crochet Crowd does have a very good tutorial to go with this. Now, yarn choice. They use Bernat Super Value Big Stripes. This one calls for approximately a little over 700 yards for the pattern. If you don't want to use number 4, you want to use a DK, a lighter weight, adjust your hook size accordingly. Okay? So I went into my stash and I thought, oh, what kind of yarns could we use? So I pulled out some cakes. I have all cakes here. This one here is a number 3. You can see this is Cookie. This is a Hobie. This is a Hobie, and you know Hobie doesn't give colors, but this is like different colors of purples and wines. And then I pulled this color, and in this here, this is very, very soft. There's approximately, so they say this is a 5 bulky. It's not. It's number 3. There's approximately 600 meters, 200 grams. It's 100% acrylic. Calls for a 4.5 to 5 millimeter crochet hook. So 600 meters is probably about 630 yards. And then this one here is Cookie. It's the same thing, but the colors on this are, I don't know if you can see. There you go. See the colors better there. So that's another one you could possibly use. And again, I would just have to use a little bit of another one. And the thing is to say you might use this and then take one of the colors in here and then use a contrasting color with it. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I have Karen Big Cakes. These have these are 300 grams, 603 yards. These are a number 4, light number 4. And you got this one here. This one is called Jordan Almonds. And I love working with Karen cakes, whether it's cotton cakes, big cakes, Karen cakes, it doesn't matter. I love cotton cakes. And I have this cotton cake that was sent to me by Karen Bruner, a very wonderful, beautiful subscriber had sent me these cotton cakes. And this is one of the cotton cakes. Now all the, excuse me, these are all worsted weight to, I'd say, a light 4, all of these. This one here is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, 530 yards. And the colorway is Sunset Dreams. And then we have this big, now this one I got at Michael's probably 3 years ago. And it was a hot mess. And there was no ball band, so what I did was I wrote all of the information on a piece of paper and I stick it in here. This is blueberry tort. It's blues and teals and tans and turquoise, mauve, and that's that. I don't know how good you can see that color. Put it that way. So these were all just some examples you could use for that shawl. So, you know, it's personal choice. And like I said, you could stripe it yourself if you have multiple skeins of yarn and you want to stripe it yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. It's your choice. I mean, that's the fun part of this. Step outside your comfort zone. If you're not used to working with a DK, number 3 weight or number 2 weight, adjust your hook size. Have fun with it. So that is the Lacy crochet shawl. It's Yarnspirations pattern. And like I said, Mikey has, this one has a lot of texture to it. Has a tutorial for it. Now, my knitters. Yoo-hoo! Calling Granny D. Moss stitch alert. This is another cake shawl. I'm gonna try it, see if I can put this, if this will give some light on, shed some light on the situation. Turn it a little bit. It's my hot light. I don't have a ring light. I really don't know about these setups yet. How to get more light coming in. See if that helps a little bit. If that's too much glare. Help, people, help, help, help. Anyways, that is another cake shawl. That is the one that I said is going to be probably the most difficult of the shawl patterns, whether it be knit or crochet. And I think that's the one I'm going to do, is this one here. Now this one only calls for 384 yards of a worsted weight, and I happen to have one regular Karen cake. I actually have several of these. I had got these, oh, there was a special. I forget who was running the special on these. Michael's was, for like $3. And they only had like 3 or 4 left, so I got them online. Now this is a heavier worsted weight than the regular Karen cakes. It's a little heavier. Just a little bit. But this is the color. And this is called Spice Cake. It's oranges, different shades of oranges. Okay. And this is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. Number 4, 383 yards, which is exactly what that pattern calls for. Which means there's no room for error. I mean, I got extra yarn, so if your gauge is off, that's where you run into a problem. If I'm knitting too loose, throws your gauge off. Now, this one here, when it's blocked, is 64 inches by 29 inches. So it's 29 inches. It would be 29 inches. I guess it would be this. It would be 29 inches. I gotta get going up this way. You know what? It's kind of hard to do this in webcam. It's much different than in my. So it goes this way. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about? It's 29 inches here. And it is 64 inches here. So, if you look, you can see some of the, different pattern stitches. There is 6mm or US 10. I was looking at my needles. Wow. My chow goose that hubby bought me for Christmas. And then I bought some extra cords. 22 inch, 30 inch, 14 inch. And I do have the connectors to make them longer. Now this one here asks for at least a 24 inch cord to accommodate your stitches as you're increasing. And it asks for a size 10. But my Chow Goos only go up to a size 8. So guess what? Don't get to use my Chow Goos. So that puts them out of the running. That's one thing about this set is I don't have, it only goes up to a size 8. But I have other sets. Now, looking through the pattern, which kind of helps decide which needle I'm going to use, because I've got bamboo, I've got the options nickel plated ones, and I have got the 5 inch, I've got the shorties, and then I've got the Majestic Square shorties. When you look through here, it's got a garter section, which is just knit, 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 knit. You knit both sides. Then it has a mesh lace section. Okay, on lace, you would like to have a fairly sharp point to get in to do your lace stitches. And then you have a section, your zigzag section. Okay, and you're going to be doing purlwise and getting into your purlwise slipping stitches. You want a fairly pointy. You don't want it too blunt. And then you got a garter rib section. So again, no big deal. It's just knitting. Granny D, pay attention. Double seed or moss stitch section. So it really doesn't make any difference on that. You have another, and then here we go. You've got 2 more lace sections coming up. You've got a diagonal lace section, and you have a feather and fan, or another name for it is the old Shawl lace section. And in here, they supply you with a chart for the zigzag section. Okay. So, needle choice, like hook choice, which I know there's a tag going around, squirrel here. I know there's a tag going around for what type of hook do you prefer, inline, tapered, you know. I guess I am a tapered person. I've never used Susan Bates, so I've always used Clover or Boy. So I guess I'm a tapered, and I'm a knife holder. So these are my hooks. I've got 3 interchangeable sets. My Knit Picks options nickel plated, I actually have, okay, let me see, these the 10s, no, that's my 10 long, these are the long ones, okay, these are the long ones, and then you've got the shorter ones, which my 10s on these are another project, so it's a moot point because I won't be able to use these because both of the 10s are in other projects. Fancy that I have needles in other projects. But these are the longer needles, and you can see the difference in the sizes. I do like these Knit Picks, and these are very, very affordable. Very, very slick. You can see the difference. Hold them by the tips here. You can see the difference in the sizes. So those are out of the running because my size 10s are in other projects. So we'll have to put them out of the running. So we can move on to one of the other sets. Then we got my bamboo Takumis. And this was my very first set of interchangeables that I got at Michael's with a 60% off coupon. These were $250 Canadian, and I got them for less than $125. Then went on to find a set for less than 90 Canadian from my friend Kathy that I got her for her birthday that year. Now, these ones here, size 10 is a 6mm. These are really nice needles to work with. These are my Takumis. They have a relatively nice point on them. Very smooth. They get a smooth join. These ones here. Now the only thing with these is my 24-inch cord is on. Okay. Landscapers were just finishing up, so I had to go see them off. So, we were talking about the Takumi. And these are my bamboo. So, the 24-inch cord is on my project, but you can use a longer cord. It doesn't matter. It's just to accommodate your stitches, and it's not in the round, so it doesn't make a big difference. So, these are the size 10, so that would be good for the project. The other choice that I have is the Majestic square tip, and I have used these, and I'll tell you, these are really nice to work with. These are the short. I got the short set, and these are the 10s. And there, and if you look, you can see they're square. Yeah, you can see they're square, and these are really nice to work with. They've got a nice point on them. It's got a nice join and very, very smooth. I mean, Knit Picks did a nice job. I own 3 sets of Knit Picks needles, and they were all reasonably priced. Of course, I only bought them on sale. And I wanted to try the square ones because they were supposed to be good for people that have arthritis issues, and they do a nice job. I do not clench my needles. I used to. I don't clench them anymore. And what helped stop me from doing that was starting to work with the 9-inch circulars for my socks. That was a big help with me relaxing my hands, which is one of the biggest things about knitting, is relax your hands. Same thing with crocheting. Relax your hands. But those are my needle choices. Again, depending on the yarn you use. Acrylic, any of these needles will work. If you're going to work with something that's very smooth and slick, you might want to stick with the bamboo, you know, or the laminated wood, because the nickel plated gets very, very slick, and the needles have a tendency to slide. I've had my stitches slide off the needle, and it is no fun. Dropping your stitches and then having to pick them up, it's no fun. No fun at all. So it's a personal choice, a personal preference on what you want to use. So, you know, that's which one. And like I said, the yarn, I can use any of these yarns. They're all variegated and self-stripe. Like I said, I'll use a Karen for this. Whatever I'm going to use a Karen cake for this. Whether and I think this one here is gorgeous. This one here. This one here. This one here. Any of these Karen cakes, even the cookie cake, would be beautiful. Something that's got a long color change would be great for this pattern. And this is not a real big shawl, but it will keep your attention because of the 8 stitch patterns. And again, if I run into a difficulty, I have YouTube. This one is one you're going to have to pay attention on. But the abbreviations is knit, knit 2 together, blah, knit 2 together, purl, yarn over. SSK, which is you slip 2 stitches knitwise from your left needle to your right needle. And then they tell you to transfer them back to your left hand needle and knit them together. Well, learned a shortcut. When I get an SSK, slip, slip, knit, I just take my right hand needle and I knit them 2 together through the back loop. It's the same thing as slipping them knitwise onto my right needle and then back to my left needle. It's the same thing. And then your slip 2 stitches, knit the next, okay, you slip 2 stitches to your needle. Then you knit the next stitch over. Okay? and then the 2 stitches that you slipped, you pass them over the stitch that you just knitted. That is a decrease. So another thing on this pattern, the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches on every row are worked the same. And it gives you the little thing to use your stitch markers to mark that, so you remember. And I use a lot of stitch markers when I'm doing stuff like that to remind me. The first stitch is always the purlwise with the yarn in the front, and the second stitch is knit with the yarn wrapped over to make the stitch. And when you get stuff like that, I have a tendency to go and I look on YouTube just to make sure I'm doing the stitch right, to make sure it looks right. Now, I will look to see if there is anything as we talk about these patterns, if there are any picture tutorials or any additional help for these patterns. But I think really everybody working together, helping each other out, we can pick each other's brains, that we should be able to do these patterns. But these are the first 2 patterns, and I'm hoping everybody will pick a pattern and join in. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. AKA hashtag outside your comfort zone. To do one of these patterns, I've had one lady said she's going to probably do this pattern here because it's got a tutorial with it, and that's fine. Still stepping outside our comfort zone. If you are a knitter and a crocheter, but you don't do a lot of knitting, then try doing the Bay of Fundy shawl. It's a simple shawl, but it'll get you practice on your knitting and purling and a yarn over. That's the only thing that's in that pattern. That will be a good one for somebody and I will discuss that in another video this week. I will be doing 2 more, another knit, another crochet pattern later this week. So with that, I did post a picture of the owl. I finished the 1 wing. I went ahead and did the decreases to a point. I didn't like the way it looked, so I ripped it back and went back. I made quite a few changes to the end of the wing, and this is going to need some serious blocking. But you can let me know if it looks like an owl's wing. This is the first wing. It is done. There's the owl. This is the first wing. It's finished. And then I'll start on the second wing. As with any pattern, make it your own. You change it around, make it your own. So hopefully this video, there's no lagging in it. Hopefully, because if not, I'd hate to have to do this whole thing over again. But if need be, I will. So look the patterns up, look them over, and I will do another video with 2 more patterns. Look them over. If not, go back to the first video, check out all the patterns, and see what you think. Until next video, hugs, smiles, and happiness. Pass it on. Make the world a better place. Bye for now from Deer Island, and I'll see you in the next video.